Sarah meets Nick at a local cafe, cleverly disguised. While Bob watches the area from a distance, she hands Nick details about Bob's vehicle and license plate, ensuring the information will catch the attention of Johnson's private security when processed through FBI systems. As Nick leaves, 2 police officers spot Bob nearby and demand his ID. Bob refuses and quickly disables them, knocking one out and stealing their radio before escaping. Back at the FBI, Nick runs the plates but hits a clearance wall. He turns to Galindo for help, who reluctantly reveals that only someone with Delta clearance could access such high-level information. She also hints that footage from the assassination event had been heavily tampered with by unknown agencies. Meanwhile, Johnson catches wind of Nick's interference and vows to deal with him personally. Later, Nick is ambushed on a bridge, kidnapped, and taken to a secluded marina. There, Johnson's men brutally interrogate him, demanding information on Bob. When Nick refuses, they strap him to a terrifying contraption designed to force him to shoot himself. Just as things take a grim turn, gunfire erupts out of nowhere. Bob, with pinpoint precision, takes out the agents and approaches Nick, freeing him from the device. Nick, furious at being used as bait, insists that Bob should clear his name legally. But Bob knows the system is riddled with corruption, capable of erasing any evidence of wrongdoing. Reluctantly, Nick decides to join Bob in his quest for revenge, realizing his FBI career is likely over. Meanwhile, Johnson learns about Sarah through her annual flower deliveries tied to Bob. Seeing an opportunity, he orders Payne to head to Kentucky, kidnap Sarah, and use her as leverage against Bob.
What are you waiting for? Take the jet.
Bob and Nick set out for Tennessee, seeking answers from Mr. Raitt, a firearms expert. The knowledgeable marksman explains a technique called paper patching, which can make a bullet fired from one rifle appear as though it came from another. This revelation leads Bob to a shocking realization. The bullet used in the assassination was from a practice session where he fired into a can of stew a week before the event. Mr. Raitt drops another bombshell. Only one sniper alive today, besides Bob, has the skill to pull off this level of precision. The man in question, Mikayusz Cherbiak, is identified as Michael Shandor, Johnson's wheelchair-bound associate. Nick quickly contacts Galindo to dig into Shandor's past and uncover his current location, which turns out to be a secluded estate in Virginia. Meanwhile, Johnson stays ahead of the game. He orders Shandor to act as bait and enlists Senator Meacham's approval to deploy a kill team, the same one responsible for atrocities in Ethiopia, to eliminate Bob. Back in Kentucky, Payne and his men storm Sarah's house. Sarah manages to kill one intruder with her shotgun, but Payne overpowers her and takes her captive. In Virginia, Bob and Nick prepare for an all-out assault on Shandor's estate. Using military precision, they take out the contractors guarding the property. Once inside, Bob corners Shandor, who drops a series of damning revelations. Johnson has been working under Meacham, whose corporation exploits economic resources in impoverished countries like Ethiopia. Shandor also confesses the assassination's true purpose. The Archbishop was targeted for opposing their organization's brutal tactics, including wiping out an entire village to clear the way for an oil pipeline. To Bob's horror, he learns that during his mission in Ethiopia years ago, he unknowingly provided cover for the killers of those villagers. Shandor, weighed down by guilt, reveals Sarah's abduction before tragically taking his own life. Moments later,